RENEWS English section is on air. I'm Sona Tumanyan. Daily news, expert opinions and topics that are the main target of your interest are the basic priorities of the reopen media. Join us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, X, Spotify. Get your portion of information from our official website reopen.media. We begin with the latest news from Armenia. Border situation relatively stable, says Armenian Chief of General Staff. Armenia's Chief of General Staff, Edvard Asaryan, described the border situation as relatively stable during a briefing with reporters. Shots are being fired, but they are not targeted, Asaryan said. He added that the Ministry of Defense provides information on any targeted fire incidents. When asked about Azerbaijani purpose behind the gunfire, Asaryan said, "The goal is to apply psychological pressure on our servicemen and the border population." Minister of Internal Affairs Arpine Sargsyan met with the EU ambassador to Armenia Vasilis Margos to discuss deepening bilateral cooperation. Sargsyan emphasized expanding ties with Margos, reaffirmed EU support for Armenia's reforms. They reviewed progress on EU visa liberalization, including legislative changes and biometric passports, and planned Sargsyan's upcoming Brussels visit. Current law enforcement and rescue service programs plus new EU assistance were also on the agenda. In the past 24 hours, Israeli airstrikes and ground operations have killed at least 95 Palestinians and injured over 440 in Gaza, according to the enclave's health ministry. The Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, a US-backed aid group, has suspended its operations due to safety concerns following deadly incidents near its distribution sites. Meanwhile, the UN Secretary Council is set to vote on a resolution demanding a ceasefire, the release of hostages and unrestricted humanitarian access to Gaza. The United States is expected to veto the measure, citing concerns over its implications for hostage negotiations. The ongoing conflict has resulted in over 54,600 Palestinian deaths and more than 125,000 injuries, according to Gaza's health ministry. In Israel, at least 1,139 people were killed during the Hamas-led attacks on October 7, 2023, with over 200 taken captives. The International Energy Forum wrapped up in Baku, featuring key discussions on sustainable energy development, digitalization of the sector, acceleration of green projects, and reducing dependence on carbon-intensive sources through innovative solutions. US President Donald Trump addressed participants with a message during the event. However, the forum coincided with an environmental disaster along the Caspian Sea coast in the Absheron region, highlighting a stark contrast between the event's agenda and on-the-ground realities. Analysts say Azerbaijani President Ilham Aliyev is using such international platforms to boost his country's influence in the Caspian region, despite ongoing ecological challenges. United States President Donald Trump has said his Chinese counterpart Xi Jinping is tough and extremely hard to take a deal with, days after he accused China of violating an agreement to roll back tariffs and trade restrictions. "I like President Xi of China, always have and always will, but he is very tough and extremely hard to make a deal with," Trump said in a post on his Truth Social online platform on Wednesday, amid growing tensions between the two nations over their tariff truce. On Monday, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt had said Trump would speak with Xi to iron out differences on last month's tariff agreement, among larger trade issues. In May, American and Chinese negotiators had struck a deal in Geneva that lowered US tariffs on goods from China from 145% to 30%. In exchange, China dropped its tariffs on US goods from 125% to 10%. Analysts had described the agreement as unexpected, pointing out that the two sides had been so widely apart on their tariff dispute. Still, the deal was seen as a welcome development, averting a bigger showdown that unnerved the global market. Overnight on June 3-4, Russian forces launched a large-scale drone and missile attack targeting Kharkiv, Odessa, Sumy, Dnipropetrovsk and Donetsk regions. Starting around 10:40 p.m., about 95 Shade-type and Decoy drones were launched from sites in Russia and Crimea. Ukraine's air defenses, including fighter jets, missile units, and electronic warfare, responded strongly, neutralizing 61 drones by 9 a.m. Despite these, Russia's strikes hit 7 locations, causing damage and highlighting the ongoing threat of aerial attacks. That concludes this edition of RENEWS from Reopen Media. For more updates, follow us on YouTube, Telegram, Instagram, X, Facebook and Spotify. Daily news and full coverage are available on our official website. You can find all platform links in the live stream description and pinned comment. This segment was introduced by Sona Tumanian.